This video lecture is on citing, specifically when to cite in your research proposals and how to do in-text citations. And this information will be helpful to you as you write a first draft of your introduction due on the Week 3 discussion board by midnight Wednesday, May 16th. So, first of all, let's begin with a discussion of when to cite. If you go to the link that I posted here under announcements on Blackboard, it's the link from librarian Annie Knight on plagiarism. There's a tab here on citing sources. And I really like the way this is all put simply and concisely to help you. Here it says, what does it mean to cite something? To cite something means to credit the original author of information or an idea that is not your own. So anytime you're sharing an idea that is not completely original, that is not entirely from your own head, you must cite. So how do you know when to cite? Here are the three major rules. If you quote a source, cite it. If you are quoting something word for word, you must cite it. No exceptions. If you paraphrase someone else's idea or statement, cite it. If it's still their idea, and you're just putting it in your own words, but it's not your idea, cite it. If you state a fact that is not common knowledge, cite it. It's hard to know sometimes what is common knowledge and what isn't. Here they provide a good example on this website. For example, the statement, quote, "The internet has brought many changes to the field of journalism." That's in quotes because it's supposed to stand as a written statement, not because you are directly quoting someone word for word. I just wanted to make that clear. So if you write in your introduction a statement like, "The internet has brought many changes to the field of journalism," or something general like that, like social media is increasingly popular throughout the world. A statement like that. Those kinds of statements don't need citations because most people are aware of this. It's common knowledge. However, if you use a statement like, "Newspaper circulation has dropped by 20% because of the internet," that's a very specific number, 20%. It's not common knowledge that newspaper circulation has dropped by that much. So you do need a citation. Furthermore, readers may want to know where this information came from, in case they want to know more about this 20% drop, so they can evaluate it to see how reliable it is. So in my social media example, if you say something like, social media use has grown by over 100% in the last 6 months, definitely need to cite that, right? When in doubt, as I said before, cite it. When in doubt, just be on the safe side and cite, or you can always check with me, of course, and see here how they cited this. All of this information is cited with the name of the source and the year, and this is what we're going to learn how to do next. How to do these citations, these in-text citations in the body of your paper. So, to find out about that, if we go to Week 1, Documents and Resources, and we go to the OWL website, the Online Writing Lab at Purdue. Right here at the top, in-text citations, the basics. So let's take a look at that. These are in-text citations in APA style. So, I'm not going to read all of this to you. You can look at it yourself. But basically, if you have a direct quote of any length, you need 3 pieces of information: the author's name, the year, and the page number. Here, if you are introducing the quote with the author's last name, then you don't need to put the last name within parentheses. And in fact, I want to call attention to this because many times students in their papers, when they're referring to another work, a work that they are citing, they start out with the full title of the work and say, according to the article, changes in social media use over the last 6 months. And then they go into the quote. No, 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 don't give me the title. Don't give me the full title of the work. That's not APA. Just give me the author's last name or the author's plural last names. That's APA style, and it makes it much more concise and easy to look up in your references. The key here is that readers will easily be able to match up your in-text citation with the works and the references. So here we're introducing the quote by saying, according to Jones, the last name of the author, and immediately after that put the year. So based on that information alone, readers can look up the full work in your references page. Then here's the quote. Students often had difficulty using APA style, especially when it was their first time. Indeed. And then after the quote, the specific page number with a P and a period and 2 spaces. So, direct quote, author's name, year, and page number. This is another way to do it. Jones, start with the author's last name right away. 1998, the year of publication of the article, found, quote, students often had difficulty using APA style, end quote, page number. And then they go on to say, what implications does this have for teachers? That's the writer's own question. This is a very concise way of doing this. Okay. Moving on. If the author is not named in a single phrase, place the author's last name, the year of publication, and the page number in parentheses after the quotation. So if you don't want to introduce your statement or your quote with the author's last name, you can just say, she stated, instead of Jones, students often had difficulty using APA style. There's your quote. Then you put everything in parentheses. Author's last name, year, page number. But she did not offer an explanation as to why. The writer goes on to put more in his or her own words. What if you have a long quotation? It says here, place direct quotations longer than 40 words in a freestanding block of typewritten lines and omit quotation marks. So no quotations if it's a long quote of more than 40 words. Start the quotation on a new line, indent it a ½ inch from the left margin. I'll let you go through all those formatting things, and maintain double spacing throughout. That's important. The parenthetical citation should come after the closing punctuation mark. So, again, depending on how you do this, you could start with introducing the study, Jones's study, or Jones's, again, author's last name, and then the year, 1998. Study found the following. Here's the direct quote of longer than 40 words. The page number comes at the very end. This is a longer version of this up here. However, if you didn't use the author's last name and year at the beginning, again, just like with the short quote, you would put it all in parentheses at the very end. What if you are summarizing or paraphrasing and not using direct quotes? Then you just give the year. And it says, actually, let's back up a bit. You don't necessarily always just give the year. As it says here, if you are paraphrasing an idea from another work, you only have to make reference to the author and year of publication in your in-text reference. But APA guidelines encourage you to also provide the page number, although it is not required. So you have to make a judgment call here. To be on the safe side, I would say always provide the page number, just like the guidelines encourage. Better safe than sorry. And again, it's not your idea, even if you're putting it in your own words. So I would recommend using the page number, which in this example would come again at the very end, right? Just like in the short quote before the period, right? Here, if you don't use the author's first name to introduce the statement, then you're going to put it all in parentheses at the very end, right? Author, year, notice comma, P, period, 2 spaces, and the page number. Okay, so I'll let you go back and check yourself with this while you're writing. There's more here on in-text citations, like how to deal with authors, multiple authors in particular. You will want to look at this because I'm sure many of your peer-reviewed research articles will have multiple authors. So when do you list them all out? When do you use the abbreviation for and when do you spell it out? When do you use et al? I'll let you look at all of that. I just wanted to go through the basics with you and show you where the rest is. Also here, as Annie pointed out Wednesday, is a sample paper. Great to look through. And you'll see how they cite here, right? Butler and Kraut, authors' names, 2002, the year, suggests that face-to-face interactions are more effective than CMC, whatever CMC is in this case. This is in the abstract. Since they didn't quote directly, they didn't give a page number. Let's see, can we find something with a page number? Here we have many authors, so it's Cummings et al. With the year 2002. Not seeing page numbers yet. Here again, multiple authors, but not at all this time, because I guess there's a limit. I would have to look it up myself again for how many authors you use et al. For and how many you spell out. Let's take a look actually. Or let's look for one with a page number first, and then we'll look at when you use et al. And when you don't. Page number, anywhere? Page number. No, I didn't see one. Of course, I scrolled through it quickly, but you can go back and look for one more carefully, and of course, you can go back to the basics on in-text citations. Let's go back to author and authors. 2 authors, 3 to 5 authors, you still give all their names. 6 or more authors is when you use et al. Wow, that's a lot. So up to 5 authors, you give all of the names. But once you hit 6 or more, then you do et al. It also talks to you about unknown authors. So take a look at that, definitely. Alright, so that should get you started on citing in your introduction. Hopefully you won't cite too much. Always, or I shouldn't say cite too much, but quote too much. I always say use direct quotes sparingly, put as much as you can in your own words, but when in doubt, cite. And that concludes this video lecture.